Mountain God needs no donations, only worship please. Chapter 2 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of his stories. I knew if this was my old body, this constant waiting for the people scouting and returning to what looked to be their homes dotting the side of my mountain would be mind-boggling and frustrating, watching all those people either stupidly staring at my massive cathedral or likewise probably saying fuck it and head back to their home. But as I was watching what looked to be what I now considered to be the best-looking human in the world cleaning trashed metal on the edge of my body, I saw one of the feathered humanoid monsters flying at said human armed with a spear. Yeah, no. I casually drawled out, and a large 20-meter-long and elephant-sized hand unfolded from the end of the tree trunk. Thick arm made out of marble snapped into existence and with a wet crunch slapped the tengu into the ground, splatting the tengu across the rocky cliffside. The human stared transfixed at the large hand that saved his life from the tengu, who meters was only away, impaling the poor young man with his spear. "Oh, thank you, great gods of the Moria shrine!" he cried out, and as he did, I felt the tiniest trickle of extremely pure energy reaching me, and as I absorbed it I could feel my body reach ever so farther deeper into the earth and furthering my mind's range. So, worship will provide me with bigger range for my omnipotence, huh? This requires some testing. I muttered, and then formed a metal horse beside the male human, who looked transfixed upon the solid gold horse growing out from the ground in front of him. Seeing the human transfixed upon the horse in stupefaction, I could barely make the construct blow a whistle, throw a little tunnel through the horse, and shake its metal mane as it lightly bowed lower to the ground, indicating for the man to obviously mount it. If I am going to play the noble god, I can't have my first attempt to converse with someone be my construct sounding like a trumpet. I thought, grimacing of the thought of being worshipped as a music god, when I truly fucked up making a construct, and as it took air through its back end to talk, it ended up making something musical, and for whatever reason people would try to make farts musical. Seeing the man mounting the horse construct and sending it at a decent trot up the path I made up the mountain, I relaxed and waited for my first contact with whatever world this was, and whether I need to plan to make this place a safe haven for humanity while also slaughtering all the monsters residing on my mountain. Speaking of which, I was feeling multiple sources of eyes or magical scrying that were attempting to see around my mountain, and I was taking great joy in destroying each one of those probes. It was honestly like popping bubble wrap, but the bubbles kept coming back and were running away from my mountain. The familiars or magical objects didn't stop me from trying out increasingly bizarre manners of destroying said methods of investigation. For example, the army of toads that approached with a heavy magic signature were smothered in a wave of magical salt that ripped every drop of their moisture, and likewise the flocks of crows and other avian beings with magical signatures were hit by small boulders emulating meteors in speed, concentrated beams of sunlight flash frying them. Or my current favorite, where I created a flash updraft that shattered the wings of the bird trying to dive around my defenses. Now the reason I was being so cruel in destroying said familiars was I could feel the magic within each of the animals literally puppeteering their body, so I saw this as more releasing them from being a slave of another, but I didn't make any animal suffer, as each method was practically an instantaneous death. However, it was starting to get a bit ridiculous as more and more different kinds of things flew into my mountain range, with dolls, paper slips, and what looked to a number of controlled cats running towards my mountain. Okay, I guess I can't live around here quietly. I stood up from my throne and I absently noted the human riding my horse freaking the fuck out as I solidified the air at the edge of my boundary, and all the things rammed into the invisible air bubble I made around my mountain from the outside, but from the inside it looked like the sky turned purple from me, reflecting even some of the light and only allowing in some air. I estimate that the human would be here in the next 5 or so minutes, so let's just sit back and look natural. I thought, wryly, feeling mages or God knows what throwing spells, or in one case, trying to smack open the air wall with her broom. Raimu Hakurai was not a happy lady right now. No, strike that, she was fucking livid at the sheer audacity of whatever dick-nosed freak of a yokai/goddess had the balls to lay claim the entirety of Yokai Mountain, and in whatever nonsense blast all of the Tengu and other clans living on the actual mountain itself in its claiming of said mountain. Though she would have certainly loved to see that bitch, Aya's face when she was blasted through several trees when her house was destroyed with the rest of the Tengu village. Either way, whoever is doing this will get one chance to surrender just for that mental image, and should they deny my perfectly reasonable offer of surrender, then I will exterminate them. Raimu thought as she tried helplessly to find a way to open the weird barrier blocking off Yokai Mountain. Raimu, this damn barrier was able to tank my Mater Spark at full power. Marissa cried out as she was thrown on the ground, and as the priestess looked away from what she was doing, she said what looked to be Marissa's broom was surprisingly cracked in several spots, which lead to the annoying witch's less than stellar landing. Even more reason as to why I am trying to seal away the barrier in question and not trying to break a mountain with a wooden mallet like you are, idiot. She taunted the usually so confident magician, making her jump back to her feet in a rage. Hey, at least I can get full meals and don't have to beg for donations in the human village. When Raimo went to throw a spell or something at the annoyance, her next words made her lose all her concentration, and all the barriers she managed to erect near the solid wall of air collapsed. What did Yukari promise you? A new barrel of sake or a loaf of bread for taking care of whoever is causing this incident? Damn it, Marisa Kirasame, I am going to exterminate you. Raima screamed as the last half-hour's work just collapsed in front of her face, and Marisa yelped as she started sprinting away when Raima menacingly started flying towards the magician, who couldn't fly away from the pissed-off priestess because of her broken broom. Mercy! Mercy, Raimo! Not the face! She screamed as exploding paper slips bombarded her and left a smoking figure twitching on the ground.